Hey everybody, welcome to Brick Talk. I'm your host, Brad Critchfield, and with me today, my good friend, Victor Sanchez.
Hey everyone, thank you for having me.
How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming in.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here this afternoon or evening, and
We have a lot to talk about.
absolutely,
It's exciting times.
it is. It is for the two of us, for the both of us.
Yeah. And I mean, I saw this coming. You know, especially if you've been so involved in the community. So you are a candidate for Bellflower City Council,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes. I'm running in District 4, Bellflower. Yes.
How excited are you?
I'm super excited. My family's excited. My friends, my community, my neighbors, they're excited. So we're in that stage of just getting ready and getting prepped and keeping the community engaged. I'm just going to continue to do what I do, and that's just my community events. Just yesterday, we distributed 32,000 pounds of food. So, to our Bellflower community and surrounding cities. That was 3,200 boxes of 10 pounds of meat. Yeah.
That's a workout.
It was definitely a workout.
So that was donated.
Yes. Private funders, private donors.
Nice.
Yeah. So all donated food, and we just shared it, distributed. It was actually in collaboration with the Secret Place Church.
Okay.
Pastor Troy Campbell. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We doubled the amount of food from last week. Last week we did 19,000 pounds. Yesterday we did 32,000 pounds.
Wow.
It was awesome. It was amazing.
And I'm sure the people receiving that food are very grateful too.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you've been involved in Bellflower for a while now.
Well, I'm born and raised.
Okay.
And so, my community involvement started back in high school, actually, in Key Club. Key Club is a service leadership program at the local high schools. That's actually how I met my wife.
Really?
We were both presidents of our Key Clubs. Yes, she was president of Long Beach Poly Key Club.
Really?
And I was president of Bellflower High School Key Club. Yes.
She excited about your campaign?
Yes, absolutely. She's very supportive. She gives me the strength and motivation to be able to go out into the community and do what we do as a family and serving our community.
And how do you balance that? How do you balance the home life and the community life? Because that's a hard thing to do sometimes.
Absolutely. Communication, definitely.
Yeah. It helps.
Absolutely. Scheduling, definitely. My wife herself is very involved in the sense of community and giving back. And so she is a strong believer of what we do. And it may be me out there sometimes, and she may be home with our son, Santiago, but she's there in spirit. If it wasn't for her being home, taking care of our kid in moments where I can't be there because I'm out doing food distributions or street cleanups or stuff like that, I wouldn't be able to do what I do for our community. So
Right. So you're both sacrificing in order to get it done.
Absolutely. But we don't, one thing I learned from a good mentor of mine, get home, put the phone away kind of thing. Try to do that. That's been helping.
Quality over quantity.
Yes, exactly.
That's really that's the predicament, right? You could spend all the time you want, but if it's not quality time, if you're distracted, if you're doing other things, it's not really creating the impact that it should.
Right.
And that's something, like you just mentioned, I've had to really focus on of quality over quantity sometimes, and sometimes quantity is good too.
Right.
But it really makes you appreciate the time that you do get to enjoy your family. And so Santiago, how old is Santiago?
15 months. He'll be 16 months in 2 days. So
you're used to not sleeping. So this campaigning won't be a problem, man.
Not at all.
Has that been difficult?
He's really good. He's really good.
Yeah.
We got into a good routine early on. We learned to do sleep training really early. So I think it was like 4 or 5 months in, and we started doing the sleep training. We learned from our good friends, the Berkeys. Yeah, over on Maple Street. So good friends of ours. He's a Cerritos College trustee. Cody Berkey and Chrissy Berkey runs Kingdom Causes Bellflower.
Okay.
And so their daughter, they had their first daughter, Vera, and so we kind of learned through them, because she's about a year older than our son.
Yeah.
And so we watched her. We've been watching her grow, and so we've seen all her leaps and her her stages of life, and we've kind of been able to take their feedback and utilize that. It's been very beneficial.
Yeah.
So
sleep training, man, that sounds nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could use some sleep training. So 15 months old.
Yes.
Okay. And so you're fired up. You're ready to go, because what we have. So November 3rd is the big day, right? And I'm sure you have everything mapped out for the next few months, and so you're just revving up and ready to rock and roll campaign. So, and it's going to be a different animal.
Absolutely.
Time, right? Everybody gets a mail-in ballot, right? Fundraising is a whole different animal. We got a lot of virtual things going on.
Right.
That's one thing I'm actually excited about, because I really enjoy this virtual kind of realm, but it's still going to be interesting how you can be innovative, creative, and still create some type of connection. And that's one thing I really enjoy, is making connection. I think that's a role of a public servant, is being able to connect, reflect, and advocate.
Absolutely.
So, it's going to be interesting. I'm sure we'll work together in the next few months and come up with some really great ways to engage the community and get people involved, because I think that's what people want. People want to be heard. People want a voice. People want to feel that, you're not just a candidate, you are their candidate, candidate for change. So what led you to becoming a candidate for city council?
Great question. Didn't really know that this was the route I was going to take. All I knew was early on, through Key Club and leadership involvement and just being involved in the community, that you have to take kind of ownership in your community, and you got to motivate others to get involved and to become a part of that community, right? And so for me, being born and raised in Bellflower was very important for me. And now raising my family here, I just want to continue to help and be involved and be engaged and bring people along, continue to connect with people and bring resources to our community. I've done some amazing projects. Actually, just this morning, I saw on my Facebook feed, one of those memories, to share. And it was about a project that we did 5 years ago. It was a Kaboom project and a partnership with JetBlue. And it was to completely revamp an entire playground at Sims Park. And I was a park commissioner at that time, and so we were doing projects like that all the time. It was really neat because we got over 271 volunteers. There was a whole planning process. It was open to the public. We had at least 30 to 50 community members participating in the engagement. What's it going to look like? What kind of equipment should it have? Should it have a soccer play area? I mean, things like that. And we were able to do things like that. And that's the kind of stuff I love, bringing that community together and getting things done. And so for me, to answer kind of your question, a little bit of it, to me, leadership, local leadership, is the most important leadership that we can have. And so I'm a strong believer of being involved every day, not just when it's convenient. And that's my family. My family does that. That's what we're all about, So, this week alone, and people don't see this stuff because I don't post everything I do.
You're not like me. You don't post every single time you have a salad and every time you go outside.
No. It's impossible because that takes time too, to just do the posts and all that stuff. I post some stuff, I stay active, but a lot of it is things that I really am passionate about. Right. Mm-hmm. So
there's a balance, right? Because on one hand, your job is to engage and actually do the job. And the other part is to communicate and get other people involved, right? So
absolutely,
and motivate that. What's the one thing you've done in the community that you take a special pride in? Something that you've done that was just very, it meant a lot to you, and something that you reflect on.
Wow, great question. I would have to say
you mentioned the park.
Right. No, and I could definitely talk about many different ones like that.
That's probably a hard question. It's probably not a fair question because you've done so much. And I mean, you and I talked years ago, and you were just as engaged then, and you don't stop. So I'm sure it doesn't all blend together, and I'm sure there's things that you've done that are huge. But do you always feel like you need to do more, right?
I don't know necessarily if it's the need to do more that I would say that's the feeling. It's more of just going back to that mindset of this is our community. And when we take that ownership and we go out and portray that and show that to people, more people get involved. I do want to take a step back and try to answer your question a little bit here. for me, one thing that started early on, and actually, again, and it's weird because my life is kind of been. I think I'm blessed in many different ways. I met my wife at a who now my wife. We've dated for 6 years before we were engaged for 2 years. Then we've been married for 4 years. We met on a soccer field coaching Special Olympic athletes. Okay. And so we met doing service. And so for me, Special Olympics was a big part of my youth growing up, my teenage years. I coached for about 11, 12 years almost with the Bellflower Torpedo swim team. That led me into working for an organization called Salem Christian Homes. And I devoted about 8 years for them and working with adults and intellectual disabilities and just helping them be integrated into their community. And so I think that really started instilling even more of that mindset of ownership in our community and getting involved. And so it's not so much that I'm never satisfied. It's just that there's so much to do.
Yeah.
But I want to say this. In the last, I'd say 5 years, 6 years, so many more people have come along and enjoying that ride in
Right.
Bellflower. And you're seeing that development.
Man, I'll tell you, and I think it's a testament to what you've been doing, because you on a commission, the Parks Commission.
I was on the Park Commission. I joined the parks in 2013.
Okay.
So I was about 23 at that time.
Okay, but I mean, you've been doing work for a long time in the community, and it's also a testament to our mutual friend Juan Garza.
Yeah, absolutely.
And man, like the strides forward that Bellflower has been making. Like I've been watching, because I spent a lot of my service time like in Lakewood area, but I've been a Bellflower resident for a while now, and I've just been watching, and it's amazing what you guys have been able to accomplish.
Thank you.
You guys, I'm sure many others, but like you said, you really see the community and community pride, and you just see it, like whether it's infrastructure or just the general morale, you really feel it.
Right.
And it's exciting to be a part of, and it's exciting to see grow, man.
Absolutely.
So hats off to you. One thing I'll give you kudos on too, and we had talked about it a while ago, but even with like the recent protests, one thing I think hats off to you. I mean, you really had a huge hand in creating a peaceful, welcoming environment for that to happen. And there was no damage. It was a very successful protest, and you had a huge hand in that.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people actually know that.
Right.
And that's okay. For me, my vision there, when I found out who the people that were planning the event and that wanted to get involved, wanted to have that voice, I want to talk about this a little bit. For me, the youth and the youth involvement is a big important. It's huge.
Right.
It's important to get new ideas, to get fresh blood, to educate, to mentor, to allow others to really be poured into, knowledge wise, and just to have access to be able to communicate and be a part of the table, have a seat at the table kind of thing. And so this really was one of those, right? I found out who the initial the young ladies that were planning the event. Thankfully, they had heard me speak at a school presentation. I did a presentation on local government and how to get involved and how to just be a part of the community. And so they remembered me. And so when I engaged them in that conversation, I just offered my services. I said, "What do you need? How can I help you?" And it was from things such as, do you have a megaphone? Do you have a speaker? Right. Would you like to speak to the mayor? I know they want to have a conversation. They want to be able to, hear you, and they want you to know that you're heard. And that's the key in leadership, right? Right. You want, and that's
you're a bridge,
right? You're a bridge, and that's exactly what I did. Thank you. That really summarizes it very well. I was just a bridge between four young ladies into Mayor Juan Garza and into Pastor A.D. Gardley and other pastors that wanted to partake too, and they wanted to get involved. At the end of the day, it's sad thing would happen there with may he rest in peace, George Floyd. But we needed to stick on the message, and we needed to show that it could be peaceful, that we could focus on justice for George Floyd, and the people marched. The people marched through the city, and to your point, no vandalism, no looting, no one was arrested, no one was hurt. It was just amazing, and I think just the fact that we brought the people to the table to have that conversation and know that they're being heard from leadership. I think that was very important. Absolutely.
Right. And that's probably why none of that more negative stuff happened, is because they felt heard, they felt respected, and they felt like they had a voice, which they did. But it really goes to show how much just being there and facilitating that really does play a part in the goodwill exchange. Right. So that's really cool, man. Wow. I really appreciate that. Just being somebody who's, lives, a mile away from it. And just, it's nice to know that, people were involved in it and it was controlled. And I think that a lot of cities, a lot of local governments could really learn from that. So, and I know you had said it's okay that nobody knows that was going on behind the scenes, but also, no, people need to know that, because they need to know who's really championing the voices and who's really taking care of business, even when, it would be easy to do nothing and just watch it happen. Right. So it's very, very important, I think.
Absolutely. That's always an option, right? To sit back, to wait 4 years, every 4 years to do something. No, that's not the proper way. I mean, you got to be involved every day. You got to be honest with you, I'm humbled by the response of the people who have really stepped up and have made calls, texted me, who have emailed me, who have called me. My Facebook Messenger and my Instagram private messaging hasn't stopped. People have been reaching out. Just in since the announcement, which was about a week ago now, a week and a half now. Yeah. We've gotten about almost 100 volunteers signed up, ready to go.
Nice.
We've received
your website looks great.
A lot of donations. Thank you. Yeah, it's mainly my wife and my son, right? That make it look good.
Same thing with my website. Same thing. It's like just the pictures of them make it all good.
Absolutely, man. But the response has been really great. And I can't say enough about that. It's just really humbling. It's an honor to have the support of so many people. And I just hope that I can, continue to do what I do for.
So when people go on your website, I know how I have mine set up. What do you have going on in yours? Like when people go to your website, and plug it too, what do people look at, and like what can they do? How can they get involved, and what forms do you have kind of set up?
Oh yeah, Sanchez for Bellflower, FOR, bellflower.com. And when you go on our page right now, you're just it's really still in the landing paging area where we're going to start adding who's endorsed and who's getting involved. There's a section where you can kind of submit your information and join the campaign team, and we'll be reach out to you and kind of get all your information even further and kind of see your availability. We have a good volunteer coordinator, Naheem Banks, young, former Bellflower graduate, very, very energetic, very involved in the community as well. Former Key Club president himself. He reached out immediately and said, "I want to be a part of this. I admire what you stand for, what you're a part of, and what you've done for this community, and I want to back you up." And he was like, "I'd love to be a part of the campaign." And so he's awesome. He's handling some of that back end stuff, and he's going to be volunteer coordinator and managing that part. And so yeah, we're excited. Yeah. So
on the page, you can sign up, be a volunteer, and then you're going to be reaching out to them and get everyone going.
Absolutely.
So what are you most excited about this campaign? Like what's really kind of, what's going to be your focus? Where do you really see your message breaking through?
Wow.
Is that a big question? That's a big question.
No, that's a great question. Well, let me ask you, what are you thinking?
Hey, I'm the host, bro. That's not how this works.
That's how it works.
Actually, someone's mentioned that too. They're like, Brad, eventually you're going to have to stop hosting these podcasts. You're going to have to start being the guest.
Yeah, that's true.
But, so, I mean, I'll take that. I'll take the question. What What was the question?
Great question, brother.
Well, I think the thing I'm most excited about is getting to be able to work with you and getting to be able to work with the people I admire in the community that I really look up to, and now I get to work with them and do good work with them, and seeing that collaboration and also, I know we're in really tough times right now. I'm very aware of that, but I also know that there is a very innovative and creative spirit. And I'm very interested in seeing how we're able to come together and create an engaging atmosphere to where people can be heard and still communicate and come together. And I feel that the way you campaign is the way you're probably going to govern. So I'm very, very excited about running a very positive campaign. I know. So for me, Bellflower Unified School District, that there are a lot of frustrations right now, right?
Right.
And it would be easy to just lean on that and just like be frustrated with everybody else. And there are things that as a parent of a child in the district, I am a little frustrated with. But the message is it has to be finding what works and making it better and correcting the things that we can correct and doing it as fast as we can. And I think that the way you campaign is probably how you're going to govern. Right. So if you can create innovative solutions that create community engagement while you campaign, you can rest assured that the candidate knows how to do that when they're governing. And that's what people need from the position is engagement, to be heard, creative solutions. So I'm excited about campaigning because that is the test, and that is the journey. So I'm excited about all of it. And I'm mostly excited that my wife Amanda is 100% behind it and ready to go. That was the first thing. Yeah. First thing when I decided I really wanted to run was, you're sure, right, honey? Like you're sure, and she was totally in. So
it's a big step.
I'm excited about campaigning and running as a family.
Good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you touched on a lot of good points. For me, I'm excited about the idea of meeting new people in our community. I mean, our city is small. We're 6.2, 6.3 square miles, and yet there's still people there you don't know. We know. I think you and I know a lot of people. We're very involved. We're very engaged. But there's still people out there that don't feel that they have a voice.
Right.
And I feel that I bring that simplicity in the sense of open-minded. You can come talk to me. I'm approachable. Right. I'm going to listen. I'm going to talk. We're going to engage.
I think that's one thing that you and I really have in common is I think we do bring kind of a newer energy, and something that's a little bit more approachable, and people that I like to consider myself, and I consider you as a very humble person.
Thank you.
So it's not about being an ideologue and saying like I have all the answers and that's it. Like it's a conversation, and your role, whether it's on a board or city council. Your job is oversight, and your job is to advocate and be a voice of the people. If the people can't talk to you, how are you the voice of the people?
Right.
So I totally agree, and also what you said about some people not having a voice or not being heard. There's a lot, man.
Absolutely.
There's a whole lot.
Absolutely, and that's without going into how I'm gonna campaign, because I know I'll have opponents. I know there's a few. I got you gotta it's still a race, right? Yeah. You still gotta you gotta run the race.
Am I saying too much?
No. You're good. Out, huh? Yeah, we don't share it all, man. Don't share it all. You got to keep some for yourself. But it's going back to your idea, right, of how you run your campaign is how you're going to govern. Mm-hmm. Who I am, and I'll be honest with you, all the stuff that I've accomplished, whether, or been a part of, it's not an I. It's a team. It's a team effort. Yeah. There's so many good people that have come on board and helped just through this pandemic alone. Day one, when we went into lockdown, when people started getting laid off, myself, Carlos from Surf Pro, Ray Hamada, council member, District 1, day one, the three of us, well, how can we put together a food distribution or get help, for this community? That's one of the things, right? Bringing help from outside resources into our community, right? And so day one, we got to partner up with the YMCA, with Jeremy, the executive director over there. And within 3 days, we were doing meals right out of the YMCA facility. We started with 100 sacks of lunch, okay, and breakfast. By the end of the week, we had doubled the amount to 200. Then we doubled it again to almost 500. And then now I think they're at 1,300 a day.
Wow.
Between March and now, we've done additional food distributions, right? Because our community needs it. And the thing is, we're bringing these resources from outside and working with food banks, regional food banks, private donors, churches to mobilize and bring that here. So we've been engaging with many different people, many of those folks that who don't usually feel heard, who are now talking to us, who are engaging, who are feeling just blessed by the community, and many of them through some of this time are now they're offering how can they volunteer, how can they get involved, and that's the kind of stuff, right? It's this mindset of, and I think Juan really focuses on this one, Mayor Garza, paying it forward too, you know. So
yeah. Who would you say who are we talking about when we talk about the people that are maybe less involved or don't have the opportunity to be involved or less heard? Like who are we talking about?
I mean,
because you're a first generation American,
right? Do
you feel that like there's enough outreach to say like the north side of the city, or in my case, a lot of it's like the north side of the district,
right?
What do you think that's about, and how do we fix that?
I mean, if you're gonna
I'm throwing out some hardball questions.
You're throwing out some good
doing?
questions. No, that's all right. That's okay.
Man.
I mean, we're giving talking points away,
Jeez,
but
right?
No, that's good. It's good. When you talk about who I believe is disenfranchised or who is looking for a voice, and who needs the same amount of support and love in our community, I'll tell you this: I'm doing this right now with the Nest. I don't know if you've seen on social media, but every Wednesday, or once a week, almost every Wednesday, we've been giving 25 hot meals to about 4 to 5 families every Wednesday.
You gotta get me involved in this, man. you gotta get me involved because you're doing a lot, man. And honestly, I've been trying to get my workouts in, and you're moving a lot of weight, so I can just like double up.
Yeah, you could double up, do double the weight than I do.
How much weight? How many pounds of meat was it?
Yeah, it's each box was 10 pounds. So some of these guys are carrying 4, 5, 6 boxes.
I'll bring my protein shake.
There you go. Man. Yeah, you just come in your shorts, man, your trunks, and
seriously,
and go to work.
You got to tell me.
We'll get rid of the pallet jack, and you can just be
Who needs it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So going back to that, the 25 the hot meals, that's going to families here who are afraid of coming out and getting resources.
Right.
They're mom, dad, or one of the members in the family is undocumented or something like that case usually. To your point, I am first generation Mexican American, born and raised here in Bellflower. My parents fortunate enough to, my mom full citizenship, my dad resident, so he won't be able to vote for me. Actually, my mom won't be able to vote for me either because they live in District 1, so they'll vote for Ray Hamada.
Okay.
So the whole districting thing is a little weird too, right? But I think it plays a good role in the community. I won't go into that, but there's a lot of Latino in Bellflower, Latinx, so, that I feel, and others who feel like they're not, the city at this point in time historically isn't really engaging them, and then that's one of the areas that definitely we got work on. you know, when I look at Street Fest and the things that we do, I'd love to see more of an international, like a international day kind of a model. You know, when we have the music playing and all that, I like to see some jazz, some R&B, some merengue. You know, definitely a little bit more cultural inclusivity, inclusion, and just really helping that. And I think that'll help generate that melting pot that we are, you know, here in Bellflower. And I think you know that, you know, it's a real beautiful melting pot. And I think that there's a lot of work to do in that direction for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
And for Cami, do you have are you excited about doing like a kickoff, or what does it even look like?
You know, I don't know. Usually, you know, I was, you know, originally thinking you'd have a big tent, you'd have a restaurant come in, bring some food and everything like that, invite everyone from the community. Yeah, with COVID, I mean, it's kind of hard from that standpoint, you know.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I have some good ideas, and I won't, you know, I can't share them. No. I'll share them with you afterwards.
Yeah.
And you know,
I have a couple too. Actually, I want to bounce them off you. Actually.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, whether it's, you know, kickoff or, you know, even, you know, just campaigning in general, it's going to be a challenge, but I think it's going to be a very interesting experiment. But again, just, you know, to be a little redundant, I think it's just all about people feeling like they're with you on that trip, right? And when you've been involved in the community for so long, people are rooting for you. You know, people feel a part of the process.
I feel it,
and that's the most important thing.
I feel it. The donations that have been coming in, and they're small amounts. I mean, they're people that some people I've never even met.
Wait, you've got donations?
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. Oh yeah.
Where you guys at, dude? What's up?
We gotta help you out, man.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I've got a few.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. But I've been getting all kinds of amounts. You know, small amounts. You know, very.
It's great, man. It's so humbling.
It is
too. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing with the nests, right? Those, you know, the families I didn't want to mention, they're single parent family households. Yeah. Also, I want to touch on that, and they've been amazing. The nest has been a really good partner in this, and so many others, man. Surf Pro, Carlos or Sandra Espinosa, you know, they've been very helpful and very involved in our community. They make a big difference, and that's the kind of people that, you know, we need more of. Definitely. Yeah.
And you know, speaking of people we need more of, you know, one person I'm really looking forward to seeing through this race and working with as much as possible is Myra Garza.
Absolutely, yes, Myra, absolutely, great teacher, great mom. I've seen her in action. Love her kids. Love you know, the family. Been to family parties, and just a great person. I love talking Spanish with her. We only actually have our conversations in Spanish every time her and I talk.
Well, I'm taking Spanish tutoring right now. I really am.
Good.
So like a month ago, I hired that's a great thing about where we're at in time right now. I went on Thumbtack and I got a Spanish tutor.
Really?
And she has a PhD. She lives in Florida, and we've been doing like 2 sessions a week. And don't test me or quiz me right now, but because a lot of it's just grammar and stuff right now. But you know, I've tried to learn Spanish throughout my life, but you know, I don't think I've ever really stuck with it as much as I really could have. So for the past month and then going forward, I'm very dedicated. So I'm gonna have to hop in on those because that's the only way you really learn is if you're actually speaking it.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely, and so I love those moments.
Yeah, but you know, back to Myra, I think, you know, she has my vote. She has my full endorsement.
Absolutely.
I think she's great, and I know some. You know, we don't even know how many seats are going to be on the board, right? So I'm not even worried about that. All I know is I'm running 100%. I'm going for it, and I know she is too, and she has my full support. She's amazing.
Absolutely.
I love you know, Juan Mayor Garza. I think she's amazing, and I think we need more people like that.
Absolutely.
I think I don't know why. Maybe I should look at it. I don't know why I like saying, or I don't know why I don't like saying like we need more young, like energetic, because it sounds bad, right? Like it's because it's not an age thing. It's an attitude thing,
right?
But there's a correlation, right? But just forward thinking, just energetic, and like ready to get out there and get excited,
right?
And she's definitely one of those people. She has a lot of energy, just like you do.
Thank you, and absolutely. I think to your point on that, when I say that we need more people like that, it's people who are involved day in, night out, no personal gain, no personal reason other than this is your community.
Right.
This is where you live, and we can together as one come together and make a difference. And that's what it is. And it's consistency. You know, you can't just pick up the rock when you choose to. That's not, you know, how do I put it? You know, it can't be like that. It can't be sporadic. It's got to be consistent, right? You know, if you have kids, you know, or pets, you know, you can't just provide food every other day, you know, or whenever you choose to, that it's convenient to you. You have to, you know, be involved.
Right? So
it's discipline. Exactly.
It's, you know, I used to, in my old office before COVID happened and I moved to the garage, I had a big sticker on the wall, like a wall decal.
Okay.
And it just said, discipline is doing what you have to do, especially when you don't want to. And it's exactly that. And being able to, and this is something I think gets lost when people, I don't want to say serve too long, but when people are not enthusiastic about service, is they lose the excitement. And excitement is what is contagious. And that positive energy of seeing somebody going out there and not only doing the work and being, but doing it and being happy and being positive. That brings more people in, and that's what, in my opinion, that's what it's all about. And
So
you have to do that.
Let me try to pinpoint something. Your hobby, I think it's safe to say you like working out a lot.
I try.
I think you do.
I got that COVID. I got that COVID-19 going.
I think we all have that, a little bit of that going on right now too. But you know, I mean, even just your setup, you love doing these kind of things, right? You love talking to people, you love engaging people, but you love. I mean, I've seen you. You love the gym. To you, that's your hobby. That's you know. I'm telling you right now. For me, volunteering, being a part of something bigger than myself, that's like my hobby. Yeah. And so it fits in to me. It makes me happy. I love making other people happy and being a part of that.
So I'm going to add on to that.
Go ahead.
Because I've never seen working out as necessarily a hobby. I've always seen it as it helps me do other things better. Yeah. So it's like charging the battery. So like for you, like when you're doing service, you know, it's not like you just like enjoy doing that thing. It's like, that's what brings you joy. That's what brings you the energy to do it more. If I wake up in the morning, I don't go for at least a run or like do a little 40-minute workout, I can feel my energy just 20% lower. And I feel like because I made a decision to not do something, I'm taking away from conversations. They're just a little less energy, a little less focus, taking away from my family, I'm taking away from my community. So I really see it as, you know, health and like just mental and physical health is about just doing what you need to do to maintain your vehicle so you could perform better for other people. Yeah. So that's where, you know, I really do it. And if I slack for even, you know, a couple weeks, I really feel it. It's not that I, you know, need to like, you know, wear a tank top and feel good. It's because I feel my energy dropping. Like I need to keep it up, you know?
Exactly. You explained it perfectly. My best friend, Glenn Windmiller, you know, also a Bellflower graduate, you know, now pharmacist. He always says, you know, I'm always doing something. Yeah. You know, I can't stop, you know, from that standpoint. Because that drives that energy. It creates momentum. Exactly.
Right? If you take time off and you're not doing anything, it's much harder to get it back going again. Right. But it really does create momentum.
Right. Absolutely.
Man, I feel like we're gonna have a very exciting few months.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be busy. You know, it's gonna be busy, but it's gonna be good busy. And like I said, I'm looking forward to meeting more people. I'm looking forward to my team, working with my team. You know, I don't know how big your team is yet. But
you have a team too?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You're getting donations. You got a team. I got to get on board, man. I have a really solid team. Good. Very solid. You know, pretty smart now. But if anybody wants to jump on the team and support, votebrad2020.com. And I have a few different forums on my website. Like, you know, again, yard signs are going to be really important. So
Yes.
again, I don't want to give out too much of my
No,
stuff, but I think it's pretty safe.
I've seen your website. I'm voting for you. You got my vote. You
Awesome.
know? You can't vote for me, but you can definitely
I'll get the word
support
out.
me in
Get
other
the word
ways.
out.
Exactly. And
I'll have you on my podcast.
There you go. Thank you.
But I think having the team and working is going to be really important. But also like just keeping organized is going to be
Right.
very important. So that's why even people that text me and say, "Hey, I want to support,"
Yes.
it's like go to the website. That way, I have it all in one spot.
Right,
that would
right.
help me. So I have that going. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to be adding some stuff to the website too, and endorsements and
Yes.
and also creating more of a forum section on my webpage too, to get the conversation going so people learn a little bit more about me, because I spend so much time asking questions that I sometimes don't put myself out there. And
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you as a director of public relations or community relations and donor engagement. I love that role, because when I talk about a mission.
Right.
I talk about a cause.
Right.
And for me, I rather talk about something that I believe in and something that I'm passionate about,
right,
than in a sense of another mission. So like CFGC, Community Family Guidance Center, providing children's mental health services. I can do that all day. When it comes to talking about myself, it's a little harder. It's a little harder for me. It's not natural. Although people would think that I'm that confident in that level, to me, that's. I was, sharing with you earlier. Growing up, I was shy, timid kid. Teachers and thankfully I had some good teachers throughout my my education period. Specifically, I had my AP government teacher, Miss Nicoletti. She's the one that really instilled in me this whole real sense of community and giving back and getting engaged in leadership and civic leadership. And that's really when that like bulb just kind of hit, and it about being involved, but being involved again, day in, night out, So
it's interesting when that kind of light turns on, right?
Yeah.
So I when I was at Long Beach City College, I was in a program called the President's Ambassadors.
Oh, cool.
Which is basically, it was a group, and we did some political stuff. We were like kind of the political arm of student government. But Robert Garcia was the head of that club. So I really just I joined that because I heard it was a really solid way to get into Cal State Long Beach, and my grades weren't the best, right? So I was like, okay, I'll do that. And but it was, I think my major was music, because I was like touring with my band. I was like really into music. And then I started talking to him, and then we went on like a trip up to Big Bear, and we were just like talking about things. And then when we were done with the trip, I changed my major to political science, transferred to Cal State Long Beach, got a degree in political science. And then from there, it's all history. But it's funny because sometimes and that was before he was Mayor Garcia. He was Long Beach City College employee. But it's funny, like once that light turns, things become pretty clear, and you realize, there's a lot of things you can do, and if you're of service. So like even, my time, working with Rotary Club and just it's just nice being around like-minded people. Or even when I've done self-development stuff, like it's just being around people of service. Or my last guest, Alex Argumedo, Army Ranger, like that's how him and I met, of being in a self-development course where it's all about service. Being around those people gives me energy. It's kind of like working out. It's like, and to the point of even like talking with you, like hearing about all the things that you do gives me energy, makes me want to do more. And that's what I love about it. Yeah. Because it just propels that even further.
You feed off of each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you do that too, because you're in Kiwanis Club.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about
13 years.
That.
Yeah. So
you're past president?
Correct. Past president, past chair of the foundation. Great club, great service club, here in Bellflower. It's the key sponsor of our youth development programs at Bellflower, Mayfair, Gar, St. John Bosco, St. Joseph, Somerset. We started a actual leadership development club Key Club at Somerset High School as well.
Nice.
And so we, very involved. One of our main focuses is scholarships. Usually we give out between $20,000 to $30,000 in scholarships every year.
Nice.
And so that's what all of our mainly funding or fundraising kind of goes to. I'm a actual advisor. So I'm working with the youth weekly. Lately with COVID, they've been doing more like really neat stuff on Zoom and everything like that, and still having training and interactions via Zoom. And that's been interesting. But usually, they're doing street cleanups, they're doing beach cleanups, tree plantings. And the cool thing is, right, they're planning them themselves. So they're working through it all, and then us as advisors are kind of there, answer questions, help them through the process, and kind of give them that guidance and mentorship on how to go through the processes. You know what I mean? And it's really neat. And they get to meet, service club members and get to engage in that. We definitely, one of the things that Kiwanis struggles with, and I'll say this publicly, right, like any other service club, it's that generational, generational gap.
It's very, very difficult to bring in the new blood, right?
Absolutely, very, very difficult. We've actually been, pretty creative. I was, the first. At that back then, they called it a junior member. My advisor, a good mentor of mine, Don Howard and Ray Hamada, actually, they knew me when I was a high school senior.
Okay.
And so they, they both have been mentoring me for a long time, and they were like, "Hey, you're going to Cal State Long Beach. Would you be interested in joining the club?"
You went to Cal State Long Beach?
Yeah, I went to Cal State Long Beach, brother.
Man.
Yeah, go
Sweet.
Beach, man. Go
Sweet.
Beach. I was going to ask you, what year did you graduate?
I don't know. I don't know if I graduated. It feels like it was like so long ago. What was it? I'll have to get back to you.
Oh, gosh, your diploma's right there.
Is it? What does it say?
I don't know. You tell me. I can't read it this far. Let me see. What year was that?
I don't know.
It doesn't have
it.
There's no way. It has to have a date.
No.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Look at the bottom, fine print. It's got to have a date. There's no way it doesn't have a date.
It doesn't have a date.
Nah. You're just lying about your age, man.
No, I
You're
swear.
what? You're what? 28? 25?
No, it must have been 2000. It was after I met my wife,
Okay.
because she went there too.
The only reason why I'm wondering, because I wonder if you're my TA, man.
2000. yeah. No, 2013. No. 2011.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Because I just opened up my business.
Wow.
No. So I opened up the business, and because I opened it when I was graduating, 2012.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no date though.
So 2012. So, and you majored in political science. There is no way that you and I didn't have a class together.
Really?
Oh, I'm sure.
That's funny.
I graduated 13, class of 2013.
Really?
Yeah. My wife and I graduated class of 13.
Funny.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting is I went to Long Beach City College first,
Okay.
and I spent like 3 times the amount of time at Long Beach City College than I did at Cal State Long Beach.
Right.
Because I did so many units there.
Okay.
And it was like, you're taking out loans, you're taking your time, you're doing, but then when I got to Cal State Long Beach, it was like, oh wow, this is expensive. I gotta get out of here. It's boom. So I think I was there for 3 semesters before I graduated. So I'll be honest, when I think of my college years, I really think of Long Beach City College.
Okay.
Like there's much more of a community there for me. But I really did enjoy Cal State Long Beach. But when I was at Cal State Long Beach, I was also starting my first business. I was fighting professionally. So I was like doing all these things. So it was like almost a blur. I got married, started a business, and became a professional fighter all in like the 1 year I was there.
Wow.
So.
No, that's amazing, man. Similar boat, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the last year and a half, maybe last 2 years, it would have been a blur for me completely. Graduated class of 08, Bellflower High, go Bucks. Recession period, recession time. I'm the oldest of 5. I have 4 younger brothers. My mom, had has 6 men or six guys in the house, right? And so during that time period, if you remember back to 2008, everyone's hurting.
Oh yeah.
And so I
mean, it was no 2020, but it was still pretty bad.
Right.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad from that standpoint, as a 17-year-old kind of, trying to help out the family. I'm a first generation, college student, there's really no much, there's really not much I could say that explains how you feel almost like you're on your own, because to a degree, my parents, my dad had a, third grade education. My mom graduated high school in Mexico. There wasn't much that they could help me from a standpoint of, what do you do, son, in college kind of thing. It was all like new experiences for everyone. I'm the first generation in my, not just my immediate family, but my extended family to graduate. Really? Yeah. Well, at least from my dad's side. My mom's side, I think I had a cousin that had graduated a little bit before me, but I was working 3 jobs. Yeah, my freshman year, I worked 3 jobs.
What was your first job? Don't say Wiener Schnitzel.
McDonald's.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, McDonald's. Right here.
Close enough.
Yeah. Right here. My first job. Well, no. ROP. Does ROP count?
No.
Okay. No. Even if it was a little bit of paycheck. I think there was a paycheck. Was there a paycheck?
Was there?
Okay, maybe not. I think it was. There wasn't no paycheck yet. No. Yeah. But so my first job was McDonald's.
Mine was Subway.
Yeah,
I was an artist.
You were eating fresh, man. Yeah. At least you had good food.
Exactly. It was terrible though. Like you look at that bread, it's like frozen breadsticks, and like it was so. And then like you'd make the tuna, and it was big, huge bags of mayonnaise for like one little can of tuna. It was so bad, man.
Yikes.
I probably gained like 20, 30 pounds.
Yikes. Yeah. So I actually worked at the McDonald's over here on Lakewood. On Lakewood and Alondra.
Okay.
Right there. Before they remodeled it. Now it looks nice, so I worked it before that. Yeah. And, can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story about my experience working at McDonald's. I was there for about 6 months or a little less than that. And it was track season. I remember it right before track season. Just right because I remember having to turn my resignation in, because I was going to start competing again in track. I was a runner in high school and a soccer player. But, what I want to get to is, there's people in your life, that really make a big difference, right? That impact you. And I can name so many, and I've name dropped a few already. But this one individual, her name's Dolores Berenti, has worked for the city of Bellflower for about 30 plus years, has worked for Salem Christian Homes for 20 plus years. I worked for both of those agencies. Thanks to her, she actually she remembered me so she came through the drive-thru this one day, and I'm working cashier at the backside, and I'm cleaning the trays, and I'm doing double duty, taking in the cash and taking the orders in. And she comes up to the window and she's like, "Aren't you Victor?" And I'm like, "Yes." It's like, you don't remember me, but I remember you. You were volunteering at the Special Olympics event a couple months ago, weren't you? I was like, yeah, that was me, and so that's kind of like the whole conversation, like short conversation. And she goes, I need you to come and apply for the city, for Parks and Rec. Come apply next week. I go and apply, next week, go through the interview, and everything like that. Get my second job working for the city of Bellflower under Parks and Recs, man. For Parks and Recreation. Awesome. So I worked there.
Isn't that crazy, man?
Yeah.
Just one interaction.
Right? Absolutely. And so she was or is responsible for the special needs program that the city provides, the whole Special Olympics, and then on top of that, like the community interaction and integration programs that they have. And so I ended up working that with her for about almost 4 or 5 years.
Nice.
Well, about 2 years being into that, or a year and a half being into that, she recruited me to work for Salem Christian Homes, a group home setting. And so now I'm working I'm working for the city. I'm working for Salem, providing all kinds of different things that I really never thought I was going to do, but maybe for my dad, when he was older, like bathing and all these other, hygienic, things for, older and adults. And then the third job was a gas station. So I would do graveyard shifts at Salem. I get off at like 7 a.m, bike to Cal State Long Beach, go to school, go to class, come back and work for the city from like 2 to 6, 4 hours. And then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I work 2 to 10 p.m. at the gas station on Palo Verde and Atchison? No,
Okay.
no, not Atchison. Right before that, Spring.
Okay.
Now it's nice and new.
Yeah.
But I worked it when it was the old setting.
Uh-huh.
I literally was in a crystal blocks,
Yeah.
people just coming in doing cash, transactions. But I would work. So I did all that while still partaking in like, activities at school. And
You were still able to stay awake through class?
yeah, man,
Jeez.
coffee, brother, coffee. Absolutely, absolutely, coffee. I mean, but I'm telling
you
you,
had to bike to Cal State because there was never any parking. But the good thing about the political science is it was kind of like next to the the structure there.
absolutely,
Wasn't too bad.
right?
But like that's how I got there right when they finished the gym.
Oh,
right? So the new
yes,
fitness
the
center.
rec.
So then I finally had something to do in between classes. But
Okay.
man, it was like that's kind of how my college experience was. It was like you hop in, do a class, to hop out. I wonder if I didn't have all those other things going on, just like you, I would have been much more involved in the school and governance. But kind of like you, I mean, it's just so hard to find time.
Well, for me, it was those first 3 years, and my wife is my rock, and I probably should say that more to her too, and I try to throw this out here to give her some credit because she deserves a lot of the credit. She's my balancing actor. She really was the one, because she was actually working 3 jobs too. My wife's also first generation Vietnamese American. And so she was also working to help. I mean, I think everyone was probably working a lot during that time period, right? But my junior year in college is when she was finally like, hey, maybe we should slow down a little bit and try to be a part of the community, like the
Right.
Cal State Long Beach community. And so we joined a few other clubs and stuff like that and got a little bit more involved, slowed down. I think I quit the gas station after like 2 years of being there, 2.5, and tried to partake a little bit more. Met a lot of great people that way, who are now good, still best friends. There were my groomsmen at my wedding and everything like that, and so met a lot of great people because I slowed down a little bit.
Where'd you get married?
San Marcos, over near San Diego. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, beautiful wedding. My wife is very gifted in decorations and centerpieces and everything like that. We didn't all inclusive, we saved the money, we paid for it all ourselves and stuff. And Twin Oaks Estate, I don't know if you ever heard of that, but yeah.
Dude, I had my wedding in a backyard, man. I literally did. Yeah. I was.
If it's any sentiment or I wanted to do that. So I wanted to buy my house
Yeah.
and have it in my back wedding.
Yeah.
Or have the wedding in the backyard.
I got you.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, then I couldn't get anyone to really, back the loan. So
Right.
I needed a good job.
But I think the key to having a good wedding is like the people that are there. And
Absolutely.
And happy wife, happy life.
Absolutely.
And it's same thing with my wife, Amanda. She's just like, she keeps me on track.
Yeah.
And with kids, man, I mean, you know that now.
Absolutely.
There's no way I could do any of this stuff
Right.
without her holding it down at home.
Right.
And I got 2 beautiful daughters, Tori 6, Brooklyn 3, and they take they're handfuls. They're amazingly cute. Like the stages they're at right now
Right.
blows me away. Like it's serious. And that's a hard thing for me because I can't put my phone down because I want to video every cute thing they say. But like I have to like force myself to. But yeah, man, it's amazing. And I love the fact that You are a family man.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I do want to add one thing, and I have to say this because we have a strong family presence. My parents live 5 minutes down the street. My in-laws live 10 minutes down the street. They live literally next door to Cal State Long Beach on Palo Verde there. And they're very involved.
Yeah.
They're very supportive.
So important.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people don't have that.
Yeah. So we're
That's
again,
special.
we're blessed. It's special. Absolutely. And to kind of maybe answer a little bit of that question you asked earlier is how do I, balance all that? Family is very involved and it makes a big difference.
It takes a village.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a village.
And I think that's like, I think that, just to kind of, tie this into what we were talking about before, as far as campaigns, I think that really is like the message. And I think that's what resonates with people. It really does take a village, and it's about creating community, accountability, and responsibility.
Right.
And, man, I'm just excited, man. I think it's really positive things in the future. And I know sometimes, people look at, politics in a general light of like just being negative or just like a bad thing. But man, there is at the local level, dude, that's where it's at. Man.
That's where the rubber hits the road, man.
That's where you really can feel the love and engagement. And
absolutely.
That's what's exciting.
Absolutely. That's where the rubber hits the road. And it's about getting the things done. It's about respecting everyone and engaging with everyone, and if you can do that, and I know I can, and I know I bring that to the table, and I know I bring the leadership experience too, being on the Planning Commission, being the current chair of the Planning Commission. I've been on the Planning Commission now for about 3.5 years, so almost 4 years, and we've gotten a lot of good work done. And so, honestly, I'd just be honored if people support me and vote for me on November 3rd, and to help as a community continue the work that we've been doing. Absolutely.
And plug your website, socials, and how people can get involved in the campaign.
Thank you. See, you're great at this, man. You're great at this. Sanchez for Bellflower.com. You can follow me at Sanchez for Bellflower on both Facebook and Instagram, and we even have a Twitter account. So you can go Bellflower 4, the number 4, D4, so District 4. Yeah, you can definitely go there too as well. But definitely the website, I think, is where to start, just so that you can get on our sign up list. We're working on making it. We're gonna have the website also be in Spanish as well. So cool. we're doing that as well. As the money has started coming in and the help has started coming in too, we're gonna be able to make some of those modifications. Everything that I put together, it's gonna be that way. So
nice, man.
Absolutely.
Dude, thanks for hanging out with me, and I know it got kind of hot, but I thought
it's okay. I needed to sweat a little.
Yeah, man. I'll be honest. I bought that AC unit from Best Buy. I thought it was going to work a lot better, but it'll only get better.
It's all right.
Man, thank you so much.
Absolutely,
I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do for our community, and guys, go to the website. Website one more time.
SanchezForBellflower.com.
SanchezForBellflower.com.
And that's FOR.
FOR, not the number. FOR. Support my friend, support your community, and just keep an eye out because it's going to be a very exciting and engaging few months, and it's going to be a good one. All right, Bellflower. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.